Good morning, everybody. We have got a visitor in today who's going to fill us in a little bit on what's going on with the crew down at the riverboat, the Showboat down along the river. And, well, good morning.
How good morning.
I'm doing well. And we were just talking a little bit before we went on here about your COVID situation at the Showboat Theater.
Yeah, so the Showboat, it's not ideal what's happening, but we have really strict regular testing in place. So it means that the testing is working because we've had a couple of breakthrough COVID cases within the company, which means that just to be fully cautious and make sure that it doesn't spread any further within the company, we've decided to postpone our opening of Calendar Girls, which was scheduled for tonight. Mm-hmm. And we're just gonna cancel the first weekend of performances, so that everybody who was around anyone who might have tested positive has enough time that we can be sure that they don't have it and everything is good to move on. So we'll open Wednesday, the 22nd, with our regularly scheduled 3 p.m. matinee, instead of today. And so I know a lot of people have a lot of questions because a lot of people had tickets for this weekend. Mm-hmm. And what does that mean? And so if we have an email address for someone and they have tickets, we've reached out to them already yesterday or the day before to let them know that this was the situation. And if they want to exchange tickets, they can just email the box office at boxoffice@clintonshowboat.org and let us know when you want to come see the show. If you can't come to Calendar Girls, you can move those tickets to any other show in the summer as well. And we will take care of that exchange and then send a confirmation so that they know that that's been taken care of. If they can't, some people are in town just for the weekend and have tickets. So if they can't come back to any shows, we can offer a refund with the original payment method. And so we can also do that without the person being present. So you can email that information as well, and we can process that. If it was cash, obviously, you'll have to come into the box office for that. But our box office staff is working hard. We've moved most of the tickets already. There are still some left, but that's good. And we don't want this to happen at any time, but it's something we've been sort of anticipating for 2 years now, that when we reopen, this could happen. And so the way we test, we scheduled it so that we would know before an opening if this was going to happen. And so, not that we wanted it to happen, but everything kind of went according to how we anticipated it. So we had a system in place ready to go, knowing what to do to still be able to do the show in some capacity, just with fewer performances.
Okay. Yeah, I went in yesterday afternoon and switched out my tickets and got mine for next Wednesday.
Yeah.
So
we're really excited to open the show, and it's unfortunate because the cast has worked so hard, and it's such a fun, life-affirming show, and they're so ready for an audience, but now they just had to wait 7 more days from from when we canceled it. So,
but they're pretty much ready to go.
We'll have another rehearsal with them on Tuesday, so that they're really confident in the show and ready to go, and then we'll open Wednesday for the public to see this great show. It's sad because the director won't be able to stay for opening. He has to move on to another project. So he's not going to be able to see it, which is unfortunate.
Now who is that?
Jay Burko.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a former artistic director.
Mm-hmm.
Just a wonderful supporter. And it's a really, really lovely group of people. We have several from the area. We have Dorothy Farrick from Clinton. We have Penny O'Connor from LeClaire. We have Laura Adams from Port Byron, James Fairchild, who used to be in the Quad Cities and now is in Wisconsin, and John Chase, who's from Mount Morris, Illinois, who've all been seen around the area in different things. So a great group of people there. And then 4 of our resident company members and a couple other guests from Chicago and New York doing the show. So it's a really wonderful play, and we hope you'll come see it next week when we are back in action.
Okay, yeah, I've noticed a couple of, the first show at some of the same folks that were here last year
Yeah.
are back for this summer too, or at least for
Yeah.
whatever certain shows they're going to be in.
Mhm.
It was Mr. Fairchild. He's been in
Yeah.
several shows here.
Yeah, I know he was in Bridges of Madison County and Footloose. He played the Reverend in Footloose
Okay.
a few years back. And great friend and supporter of the Showboat also. In 2020, the year that we had to cancel the season because of COVID first hitting, he was going to be the interim artistic director as well. So really delighted to bring him into work on this.
Yeah, he always
Yeah.
does a good job.
Yeah.
Someone else who I've noticed a couple times down here and also up at Timber Lake, Grant Alexander Brown.
Yeah, Grant is just one of those actors who can do anything. He played the villain in Sister Act, if you saw Sister Act. And I knew he'd be great in that role because he can pull off anything on stage, but he's just so charming. And so, like, a charming villain is always a little bit scarier than somebody who's kind of over the top. And he's also in Calendar Girls, playing the photographer. The plot of Calendar Girls is that it's a women's club in the UK, and it's a true story about these women who did a nude calendar to raise money for leukemia research for the local hospital, because they were sick of these fundraisers that weren't accomplishing anything. And then it kind of took off and became this international sensation, and they ended up raising tons and tons of money, and so we're able to donate that to the hospital. But it's the story of their evolving friendships over this time and what it means to be a middle-aged woman that the world kind of overlooks, but to claim your own self and your body in a way that helps the world become a better place. So hilariously funny and also just really heartwarming and wonderful as well. So definitely don't want to miss that. But Grant plays the photographer who they
Okay.
bring in to do the calendar.
Okay.
It's very funny.
Yeah, now I've got the Sister Act book in front of me here, but Nancy Tearling, she's been here last year for sure. Was
Yeah.
she Church Basement Lady?
She was. She played,
Yeah.
I can't think of the character's name, Mavis, maybe, in Church Basement Ladies, and was just Sister Mary Lazarus, hilarious, and
Yes.
Wedding Singer. And she's not in Calendar Girls, actually, but she will be back for The Wedding Singer later this summer. She plays the main character. Grant, actually, is playing the lead in The Wedding Singer, and she plays his grandmother that he
Okay.
lives with. He lives in her basement. And she's a real sassy, rapping grandma from the 1980s. So just hilarious. And she's so wonderful to work with, also from the Quad Cities area.
Yeah, I read that in her little resume there. She was very funny in Sister Act.
Yeah. She's she's naturally funny in real life. She's just like entertaining to talk to, which is great. But we were talking right before Sister Act opened, and she said, I just want to make sure that what I think is funny is actually going to land as funny with the audience. And I was like, Nancy, I think whatever you do is going to be funny with the audience, but just remember that she's bitter and doesn't have time for anybody. And she's like, Kurt, I got it. She's Kurt. And that was it. And then ran off with the whole character just based on that one word, And she was, and hysterically so.
Yep. Well, let's see. Let's get a couple more here
Sure.
from Sister Act. We're kind of interchanging
Yeah.
shows here, but the Megan Grace Ludwig, who was in here talking, she came out pretty mousy, and boy, she just really
And then the
let
voice
loose.
comes out, right?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. What a great singing
Yeah.
voice.
So Megan played Sister Mary Robert, and they've written her this amazing song in Sister Act called "The Life I Never Led," and people sing it at auditions all the time. And people who are her character type, they all want to play that role. And so the number of people who submitted for that role was just crazy. And Megan was one of the first people I saw audition, and she just came in and did that song. And I thought, well, that's the person to beat, because it was just so positive and joyful, because it's a song about the things you didn't do in life, or the life passing you by and realizing it and deciding to take action. And she's just one of those performers that radiates hope, And so you watch her, and you feel for the character, but you also feel like you could be part of that story too. And that's something you can't teach. She just has that thing. And so she's with us all summer also. So you'll see her in all of the shows going forward.
And I guess Chris Lyons. We'll get to
Chris Lyons. Yeah, no,
Dolores.
Chris was Dolores in Sister Act. And for those of you who saw shows last year, she was also in Smokey Joe's Cafe and All Shook Up. And she's wonderful and just hysterically funny, and this voice that's just incredible.
Yeah, very strong.
Yeah, so Chris was only with us for Sister Act. She's very much in demand. So she's off to Idaho Shakespeare Festival, where she's going to do Little Shop of Horrors, and they pay very well, so we're very proud of her for that. And then after that show moves to the Great Lakes Theater Festival in Cleveland. So she's going to be doing a Little Shop of Horrors for quite a while, for the rest of the summer and into the fall.
Okay.
But we were lucky to get her for there was another offer on the table. People don't realize what goes into casting these things. It's like, okay, well, this is the person we want, but they have other offers on the table, but she really wanted to come back to the Showboat and do Sister Act. So she actually worked it out and declined significant paycheck from another show so she could do Dolores and Sister Act here first and then go out to the other show. Otherwise, she would have been on contract for more shows with them. But reached out as soon as that other offer came in and said, hey, I've got this thing, but I want to do Dolores. Are you still considering me? So I made the offer right away so we could get her in for that. But we will definitely miss her for the rest of the summer.
Yeah, great voice.
Yeah.
And, had some very funny, good lines too.
Yeah, and she just has that thing that, like, you can't take your eyes off of her when she performs on stage. And again, like Megan, that's something you can't teach. It's just, she just has that ability to kind of key into the audience and take them with her on the journey.
Yeah, what Mother Superior said, something about, what did they do? They ended up sending me Tina Turner.
Yes.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Well, let's, I guess, move back to what's coming up here next Wednesday. Again, I'm talking with James Beaudry from the Clinton Area Showboat Theater, the artistic director, and you're the director of Sister Act.
Yes. So,
and you did a good job. You had a great crew. I mean, lighting, costumes, everything just really worked.
It really was an amazing season opener. It was our best-selling season opener in 15 years, which is amazing. Wild. Because, I mean, I know people had heard of Sister Act, but it's not one of those shows that, everybody you expect to come see. Mm-hmm. So we were really, really grateful to the community for embracing it like we did. But like you said, it was really such a wonderful team effort, the way that every department kind of just, you have meetings and you hope that everybody delivers, and they really did across the board. And so that was just really wonderful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Calendar Girls.
Yes, Calendar Girls.
Who are a couple of the main characters in there that we should be looking for?
Sure. So the main characters are Chris and Annie. And Chris is played by Elizabeth Terrell, who's an actress from Chicago, who also is a professor at Western Michigan University. And Annie is played by Kate Thompson, who is also a professor at Western Michigan University. And so they came and auditioned as sort of a team for the show because they knew we were doing it. And it's a show that people really want to be in this show because there's not a lot of great roles written for women of a certain age where they really are just in control in the main characters and not a wife or a mother. So they are Chris and Annie, the two main friends, and Chris is sort of the loudmouth driving force behind the idea to do the calendar. She's really gung-ho, and Annie likes the idea, but she's not necessarily sold on the way to raise money. And then their group of friends in this community, this women's group, and it's funny because not just women's groups, any group like that, whether it's a community group or a board of directors, you have people that you become friendly with, but they're not necessarily your friends, right? You have your friends, and then you have people who are in those groups. And so watching the group of women sort of navigate how their friendships and relationships are changing based on who's excited to do the calendar and who's terrified and who's absolutely against it, and how they all slowly get on board with this idea. It's just so great to watch them evolve. We also have Ruth, who is played by Laurie Carter Rose. Laurie's from Chicago, a great actress. And Ruth has a husband who's not that nice to her, and she's very timid and afraid to assert herself, but will show up and help anybody with anything. And to watch that character's change as she really embraces who she is, and not in terms of being defined by her husband, but being defined as herself, and watching her grow and evolve. It's a really triumphant story for her. And then you have Jessie, who is the oldest of the group, a retired school teacher, who people think is very prim and proper, but she has a real saucy side to her, and that's played by Dorothy, who is from Clinton here. And so watching that character kind of subvert other people's expectations that she's very prim and proper, when really she's ready to do it. She's one of the first people on board to do this calendar. And then how that inspires the other characters. And then there's Celia, who's played by Penny, and Penny is from LeClaire. And Celia is the one that they all think has it all. You know, she's got money, she's got looks, but there's so much more to her than that. And so through this process, the other women really discover that they all have a little bit of Celia in them if they just embrace it. And so, yeah, the way we keep joking that it's sort of like the Golden Girls, in the way that there's a character that everybody can relate to within that group, but even more so than the Golden Girls. But I think the audiences, when we finally get to see the play, are going to just adore it, because it's a really, really wonderful story. And there's some heavy moments to it, but it keeps it light and it keeps it energized, so you leave feeling good. You know, there's some heavy moments to Sister Act too. People don't leave talking about them, but without that reality, the joy and the lift doesn't hit as well. So I think people are going to love it.
Oh, good. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Now, back to Sister Act.
Sure.
The ending of the show was just, at least opening night, was just crazy. I couldn't believe the audience and their appreciation for the show. And the song that they sang just had everybody up clapping. And
it's, Sister Act is funny because a lot of movies have been made into musicals. And some people are, some snobby people are very against that. I don't care. Is it a good musical? Let's do the musical. The thing that Sister Act has, its secret weapon, is that the story is so good. And it's actually, if you're a religious person, it actually follows, it's a death and redemption story. And if you're not a religious person, you can just follow along and still have that feeling. But the way that it's about a fish out of water, this woman who comes into a convent and is the opposite of what a nun is, or what we expect a nun to be, and how she's changed by the nuns and how the nuns are changed by her. But the brilliant part is that there's also a real life and death situation for the character. They're coming after her and she's in hiding for her safety. And so you have all of these fun interactions between these characters that are funny, but when it comes right down to it, who's going to step in and save somebody at the end? So it has this light musical comedy energy, and then all of a sudden everyone tenses up because the chase is on, and to watch these characters really love each other in a way, and then overcome the challenge together, and then get to have a big joyful finish. I don't think any human can watch that and not be excited, delighted, tears of joy about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
You leave energized.
Yeah, and feeling like you can conquer things, and we all can use some of that these days.
Yeah, especially this week, huh?
Yes, but especially this week. We still know we're going to conquer this. We're going to open Calendar Girls just late, and it's going to be great, and people are going to have another wonderful experience. So we appreciate everybody's patience as we navigate this together.
Yep, and I think I forgot what I was going to say.
That happens to me every hour at least.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
What you've got your children's theater coming.
Yes, opening also on Wednesday. Wednesday is a big day for us now. We have Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Bus, the musical, based on the best-selling children's book. Our Deckhand company is putting that on for kids. It's going to be an amazing show. We're partnering with the Des Moines Playhouse, and there are some really amazing puppets in the show. So you don't want to miss that. Tickets are only $8, and you can get those on our website, clintonshowboat.org, or
That's
through
gonna
the
be
box
at the
office.
Showboat?
Yeah, that's going to be at the Showboat, 11 a.m. next Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. 4 performances only.
Okay.
Great way to introduce young people to theater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, you got another one coming up too, right? Or is that
Yes,
the-
Dragons Love Tacos, which
Okay.
opens, I don't know when anymore. After this week, I don't know when anything opens. But next up on the main stage is State Fair, Rogers and Hammerstein's State
Yeah.
Fair, about the Iowa State Fair. And that's selling really fast already, so don't wait on tickets for that. And then Dragons Love Tacos, another show for kids, is going to be playing at the theater at the high school mid-July. I don't know the exact dates,
Yeah.
but they're on the website.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, let me flip through real quick, but there are too many pages.
Yeah. We do a lot of stuff real fast.
Yeah, you really do.
You don't notice it till you have to cancel something.
Well, otherwise, you're pretty well set for
Yeah, things are good.
Wednesday.
Yes.
So I hope everybody who got tickets for this weekend were able to get tickets
Yeah.
sometime, Wednesday
Yeah.
through Sunday.
There are enough tickets that we could fit them in still. Plays don't sell as fast as musicals, so that was actually fortunate. So everybody should have access to tickets.
Okay.
There will just be fewer tickets for the public after that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, we'll be pumping it good here and
Wonderful.
letting folks know what's going on.
Thank you.
And yeah, you bet we all
Yeah.
all enjoy the theater here in town.
Great, thank you.
James Beaudry with the Clinton Area Showboat Theater, and we'll be talking to him in another week?
2 weeks.
About 2 weeks. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I got my dates mixed up too. Anyhow, thanks for coming in.
Thank
and,
you. I appreciate it.
break a leg to everybody there.
Thanks.